Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of Mitch the Taxman live business show. Delighted to be joined by my business partner Adam once again.
Hello, everybody.
He hasn't been relegated behind the scenes after his performance last month. And thank you all for joining. Tonight's theme is going to be recruitment based. So our special guest, that may give you a clue in what industry he's in. So he'll be coming on shortly. But of course, we will be giving our expertise in taxation, Adam's expertise in business and IT, and discussing other areas such as networking. Of course, get your questions in. There'll be an amazing prize. Not only is there going to be an amazing prize tonight, we've got some state-of-the-art, very expensive Fusion silver-plated pens to give away. So if there are, we may have runner-up questions, so we may be awarding some of these pens to some of you. But first, let's have a little chat to Adam. Get your questions in for Adam as well. So Adam, how's it going? Another month?
Another month? Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. I know you've been very busy. Less busy after the tax return season now, but yeah, February's been very busy. We've done a lot of travelling in the UK. We've been seeing a lot of clients, quite a lot of entertaining, so I think we're both quite tired. Yeah, no, it's been good. Lots of business things going on. We're doing some recruitment. We're growing the team. We're looking at lots of different things. So no, it's all good.
All good. We are certainly busy and tired. There's some technical difficulties for some of you, but bear with us. Let us know you're here. Give us a wave, share as well, and of course get your questions in early because we're expecting a ram-packed show with lots of people watching. So make sure you get your questions in.
Can everyone hear us?
Yeah, and also we've got a new state-of-the-art camera. So if you can hear us, hopefully you can hear us. Someone let us know. That would be very helpful.
If you can hear us, like the video.
Yeah. Like now if you can hear us.
No likes. No one hear us? It says you can hear us.
Where's the sign, Pavini? Yeah.
Where's the sign? Absolutely. Hi, Pavini.
That was some of the feedback we got from the last video. We had Pavini here talking about law, and I'm not going to actually go into all the feedback we got, Pavini, but you'll probably be getting a letter about that. So I think it's time to welcome the special guest of this evening.
I think we should invest in some sound effect machine for next.
So without further ado, delighted to welcome to the Mitch Taxman Show, Richard Jaye.
Thanks for having me. Hi Adam.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Made it here in the storm.
I made it here in the storm, the traffic, there's a train strike apparently, but yeah, I made it here nice and early.
Okay, appreciate you coming here.
Thank you for having me.
So Richard is the director at the 24 Recruitment Group. So I guess if Rich, you just want to start explaining about what you do, what the company does.
Absolutely.
Do you do recruitment?
I do a little bit of recruitment,
okay, good.
amongst other things. So my company is called, where am I looking by the way, that camera?
That camera.
There.
My
wonder in front of you.
yeah, okay. My company is called the 24 Recruitment Group. We are a multi-discipline agency. We've got 4 main divisions. The first one was started mainly by my business partner Gavin. I told you I'd mention you, Gav, about 6 years ago, and that was education recruitment. So that was at the time called Teach 24, and he ran that for 3 years on his own, obviously with a team behind him. And I joined the business about 3 years ago, nearly 3 years ago now, and set up Finance 24, which pretty much does what it says on the tin and recruits finance professionals. And since then we've grown even further. We've got an industrial division now, which places people like warehouse workers and picker, packers and forklift truck drivers, which is actually really taken off. And our newest division, which is mainly under Gavin's guys, is Media 24, which places social marketing people and all the stuff I don't understand.
That's good for us to know, isn't it?
It's good for you to know. I thought you knew about that already. So four main divisions. So what we did, we amalgamated all the different 24s to a group about 9 months ago, so we trade under the 24 recruitment.
Did you name it 24 because of Jack Bound?
I wasn't going to go into this, but there is a reason why it's 24.
I'm trying to get the prize because it's a good prize.
That's a really good question, Adam. There is a reason why it's 24, and if Gavin is watching this, he'll be very proud of this. But he met his wife when he was 24.
Okay.
His birthday is on the 24th of November.
Okay.
His wife's birthday is actually tomorrow on the 24th or whatever month from February.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Tasha.
And there was another couple of reasons about 24. So at the time, it was obviously that's why he mainly named it 24. But it seems to work. There's 24 hours in a day, in case you didn't know. And and yeah, so it seemed to work. We actually went away with funny story. We went away with the company about a month ago to Birmingham just for a sort of an end of target thing. And we got the keys to the rooms, and no lie, no word of a lie, we all got different keys, and Gavin picked up one key. What room number was he?
24.
Very good.
Very good.
So
you didn't swap keys?
No.
Let's try and get 24 questions, because...
Wasn't it 21 seconds?
Yeah, 21 seconds, 24 questions. Rich has only one prize.
Yeah, the prize tonight is a 1 hour full body massage.
Why are you smiling?
I don't know why I'm smiling. My wife is a beauty therapist part-time, and she has very happily donated. I'm very happy given a prize for a full body 1 hour massage.
So you're donating your wife for an hour, basically.
So I'm going to be very careful who I choose as well.
So there we go. We have full body massage for the best question asked. I'm expecting an influx of questions now. Okay, so again, let us know you're here. Right, let's dive into it. I guess we have recruited since we started Fusion, and we've recruited using other methods. We've also recruited using recruitment agents, and I guess you must get this question asked a lot. So why would a business owner use a recruitment agent?
I think the most practical answer is it's going to save them time. Okay, I get it. I get why people would go through an advert. I get why people would do other methods, but you're going to get inundated with CVs. What us, the agent, do, we do the shortlisting, we do the sifting, we do the vetting. We work out who the better ones are, who are the not so better ones, and that takes a lot of time. And if you're a busy business owner, you just haven't got time to go through 500 applications, of which probably 480 won't be relevant.
Yeah.
We get it as well. We put jobs up for financial controllers, and we're getting milkmen and postmen, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they're not qualified to do that role, and they just waste your time. I don't know why, but they feel that they're going to get an interview based on their CV. And my consultants' jobs as consultants is pretty much doing what it says in the tin. There's actually consulting, speaking to your clients, and literally nurturing them and telling them, advising them. So.
Okay. I guess, Adam, you've had a lot of experience with recruiting staff and
paid a lot of money over the years.
How have you found working with recruitment agents?
Look, I think what Richard said is right. Obviously there is a cost, and you can always obviously try and do it yourself, but it's a bit of a false economy. I over the last few years, I've always used recruiters. There's a lot of very bad recruiters out there. And there are a few good ones, and I think that as Richard said, saving time. People are not good at everything, and trying to find someone who's got the skills to be able to interview someone, do a search and select properly. That's worth paying money for. And typically, where in the past, having the rebate period allows you to share the risk. It means that they're checking these people as well, making sure that hopefully that they tick some of the boxes you're looking for. So, look, it's one of those things. It's why do you use an estate agent? It's the same type of principle. Not that you.
It's just comparing you to an estate agent.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I thought you wanted to say that. But no, you know what? The thing is that definitely some of the best people I've ever hired have come through recruitment companies. And I think that, as I say, although, yes, it's a cost, especially as you're taking in more people, it is a necessary thing that you have to do.
Yeah, and I think from my experience as well, it's certainly in the tax profession, it's very difficult to find good, qualified people, and having an agency that has the brand, that can find these people, it does save a lot of time, and you do get good quality people. So get your questions in. The theme's recruitment. We've got Richard here. So anything recruitment staff, you want to ask Rich, get it in. You win a prize. The prize is a full body massage. So
we've got a question here.
We've got a question.
David Jaye.
Okay, as a recruiter, what would you say is the most important part of the recruitment process? Firstly, David, slightly worrying that you really want a massage off my wife. But
who is David Jaye?
David Jaye is my brother, I believe.
Your brother?
Unless there's another David Jaye.
That's all a bit weird.
So yeah, if Hannah is watching, good luck with that one. There's only one question so far, so get your questions in. As a recruiter, what would you say is the most important part of the recruitment process? If I'm honest, I think the honesty and transparency is massively important. I've grown my business on being honest, transparent. I don't pretend I'm someone else. I'm not the finished package. We say that. And I tell my clients that, we might not get it right, but we'll learn from our mistakes like anyone else would. And I think our clients tend to buy off people that they generally like and can see that honest approach. So in answer to your question, honesty and transparency.
Okay, thank you, David. You're in with a shout, and if Rich doesn't want to give you the massage, Adam might, or you can potentially get a lovely fusion pen.
I think just going back to your point, actually, one of the other things that maybe people who haven't recruited using a recruitment agent in the past is that most of the time recruitment is on a contingent fee. I don't know if you want to explain a bit for people who don't know what that means. Do you want to just explain a bit about that?
I think, yeah, you're right. I mean, contingency recruitment is based very much on the senior end, which, if I'm totally honest with you, is not my model. I've never done much in terms of contingency, but you pay a fee up front before any of the process starts to secure that agency to really work hard on your position. It is very popular with very, very senior, I'm talking CEO level.
No, but I'm saying, on the flip side, you're typically, when you're doing a search and select, you're not paying the agency until you've found the person and recruited. And that means that really, if the agency finds you the person, then all right, you pay the fee, and if they don't, then you don't. 100%.
And I say it to my clients, when we're trying to get business and when we're doing our business development, one of my ins is that we work on a success-only fee structure.
Yeah.
You don't pay us a penny until we've found that one person that sits on that chair on day one. Okay? And so much can happen between that time that you interview, the time you offer, the time somebody starts. So for peace of mind, you do not pay a penny until day one.
Yeah.
And even with day one, with our terms, you've got 14 days to settle an invoice. So, and we're the type of agency that if something happens in week one, I'm not going to demand a £5,000 invoice, a £5,000 fee off you. So, and that's, again, going back to transparency. I've worked for the bigger companies. I've worked for the Hayeses of this world. And day one, 8 o'clock in the morning, invoice would go out. And that used to really wind my clients up. It's like all you care about is your money. I say to my accounts office now, don't worry about sending an invoice first thing on a Monday morning. They're not going anywhere.
You wouldn't get on well with Adam.
But the point is, you're not going anywhere. Send it on the Tuesday or the Wednesday, and it just shows that we're a little bit more personable and not just after that big buck. And it also comes down to aftercare. How many of my old colleagues at the Hayeses of this world, and no disrespect to Hayes because I had a great 10 years there, but aftercare, how many times would they have phoned their consultants in the first couple of months? Once they got their money, that's what they care about. And that puts recruitment consultants with a bad name. It shouldn't be like that.
We've got another question here.
We've got another question.
From Tanya. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, Tanya. I think it says, how do recruiters separate good candidates from the rest?
Good question.
Better than David's question, you'll be pleased to know, Hannah. How do recruiters separate good candidates from the rest? I think it's just a matter of, if I'm meeting somebody in person and really testing their communication skills, their personality skills, and really just, can you hold a conversation? An interview is very much a two-way process. It can be, it's daunting for the candidate. It's also quite daunting for the client. And an interview it's got to match. It's no good the candidate loving the client and the client not loving the candidate. It's got to match. So in answer to your question, I've lost my train of thought now. In answer to your question, it literally it comes down to, I think, social skills.
Yeah.
David really wants this massage. We've got another question from David.
Do you want to do the question? Should we move on a bit?
Let's do the question quickly. How do you see technology changing the recruitment industry over the next 5 years?
Well, this will lead on to my question.
This is actually really important. I mean, there's so much social media. There's the whole LinkedIn, there's Facebooks, there's whatever else, Instagrams, Twitters. It's scary, David, is the honest answer. But saying that, I still think clients want to go to someone that's experienced, that knows their stuff, that knows about their candidates. Don't get me wrong, any clients watching out here, anyone's looking to recruit, you could probably find someone on social media, absolutely no problem at all. And you won't have to pay a fee, but you don't get that service. It's a little bit of trial and error, and it's a little bit of luck. And of course, try it. But I've had many times clients have tried it, and then actually 2 weeks later come back and actually want to use a specialist.
Yeah, well, we tried it. You know, I've recruited in the past from through social media and other forms, but you know, it is difficult at the finance qualified end to recruit good people. But just following on from David's question, thanks for joining in, David. LinkedIn, I mean, we do a hell of a lot of work on LinkedIn from a business development point of view and for our clients on the business development point of view. From a recruitment agent's point of view, some of what gets me sometimes about the recruitment agents, not yourself of course, but they have a bank of CVs and they're quite reactive.
Mm-hmm.
How much of your work or one's work would you say goes on LinkedIn for more of a proactive type of approach? I mean, do you use LinkedIn in that facility?
Again, very similar to what we were talking about before, but LinkedIn is good for the qualified, the senior end of the market. On the transactional side, you're very rarely going to get a ledger clerk or a accounts assistant actually on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So yes, of course we do use LinkedIn. I don't use it religiously. A lot of our candidates come from word of mouth, referrals from our clients, etc. And I still think that's probably paramount importance more than...
Okay, well let's just flip it over to the candidate point of view. What would you say having an up-to-date LinkedIn profile from a candidate point of view is a necessity now? Or is it still very much relying on a decent CV?
Yeah, I think our clients want to see a decent CV to start with. If a client is proactive, of course they're going to look on LinkedIn. As recruiters, do you not think we look on LinkedIn? Do you not think we look on Facebook just to see what someone is like? I've had many examples that I've checked somebody out on Facebook, sounds really wrong, and there's things I didn't want to see, and you know, I'm representing my client.
Or you did.
Or I did. I'm representing my client, and you know, we've got it might mean nothing, but I think you can tell a lot from someone from activity.
Yeah, you get their personality. Guys, we're here with Richard Jaye, Director of the 24 Recruitment Group. Your questions, the best question will win a prize. The prize is
a full body 1 hour massage from Hannah Jaye Massage.
There we go, lovely prize. And we've also got some runner-up prizes in our lovely Fusion pens. I believe we've got a question. Paris Christophe, he loves it.
How will Brexit impact the recruitment industry in general? Do you think it will have a positive or negative effect?
Good question.
Still these Brexit questions.
Do you know what? I was sort of expecting Brexit to come up tonight. It's taken how long? 15 minutes or so? Yeah. It's a really good question, Barry. When Brexit happened in, June, July last year, I was in Corfu, and at the time I was recruiting for a sort of 120k CEO role, and it was all going well. I got to second interview stage with a candidate. It was all going very, very well. Brexit happened. I got an email that night, and they said, because of Brexit, we're going to be putting the job search on hold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then I'm thinking, I'm swimming on my lilo in the pool. I'm thinking, well, if that's one client, what's everyone else going to say? The honest answer, Barry, is nobody knows. There's so much uncertainty in this world. Nobody actually knows. Has it affected us so far? No. I was saying to Mitch and Adam earlier today that today was probably my busiest day in 2.5 years since I've been in the business. So has Brexit affected things? At the moment, no. But who knows what's going to happen? Nobody knows the future. But we're going to have to just react to it. We're going to have to get used to it like everybody else. We had a similar thing with the whole recession a few years ago. We'll have to deal with it.
Yeah. Thanks, Paris, for the question. I mean, just moving on from that, I mean, businesses at the moment, Adam, you're obviously advising a lot of businesses and planning for growth in terms of 6-month plan, yearly plan. How are businesses planning for growth, and what's the importance of planning?
Listen, I mean, you know from what we've done in Fusion, planning is very, very, very important. We sit down on a quarterly basis. We did it yesterday, and we plan out what the next quarter is going to be. We work out what the targets are. I think that all businesses have got to be very metric and target focused, because otherwise you don't know if you're doing a good job, bad job. You don't know if you're going in the right direction. I think that planning, certainly in these kind of uncertain times with Brexit, the whole US stuff going on, there's so many things going on that I think that, regular planning, business planning, it doesn't need to be like a 50-page document, but I just think it's good to kind of take a little bit of time outside of the bit. I think I said this last time. Take a little bit of time outside the business to work on the business rather than in the business, which sounds very cliche, but it's very important. And we get a lot of very creative stuff done when we're not physically in the office and we're talking about the strategy and everything else. I think it's very important.
Yeah, I think it's so important to get good staff because you can, again, if you're recruiting by yourself and you find someone who may not be right, then the implications of that and the time that you've wasted in dealing with that will affect the business. Whereas if you have a good member of staff that can allow the business owner to go out and do the business development, meet with the clients, that can help your business go to that next level. And that's why I do think it is crucial. Get your questions in, guys. Let us know you're here. The themes are recruitment, business, tax. Just want to bring up a subject on the tax side. Do you deal with many contractors?
Yes. Yeah, we're temps contractors. Yeah, I think we do. Not loads, but we have obviously a few.
Yeah.
But most of my business is on the permanent side. But yeah.
Yeah, because there's people may have heard of the legislation IR35, which is basically an intermediary legislation where companies would say to potential members of staff to set up a company to contract through. And if you're only contracting to the one company, HMRC may view that as an actual employee type of relationship rather than an actual freelancer contracting relationship. And they've introduced more legislation on that, which are going to come into effect in April 2017, where it's not going to be the responsibility of the individual, it's going to be the responsibility of the company. So what we're going to see, a lot of companies actually getting rid of some contractors, employing more staff, and what HMRC have said is that there's going to be, they want to get back 400 million from contractors. So from around 20,000 contractors, they're going to be targeted. So,
I think Vavini's asked a good question about contractors actually.
So Vavini says, have you seen more people use contractors more?
Well, I honestly don't think, I haven't noticed it. So no is the answer. I think it's very much as it was 6 to 12 months ago.
I think, I've seen over certainly the past year, more people going down the contracting route, but now with the tax changes, and especially with this IR35 change, that has been limited. Dividend tax, as we know, has come into play, and it's not as attractive or as efficient now to run a company versus PAYE anymore. But I think it's industry specific as well. So I know IT tech industry, for example, there historically was a lot of contractors. I mean, did you come across a lot of contractors? You must have done.
I did. I mean, IT. Wow, got a big question there. We've got quite a few questions. We'll deal with that in a sec. IT definitely massive contracting market in IT, very expensive market. But a lot of people went from employment in large businesses and said, you know what, if I can earn 800, 900, £1,000 a day contracting, then they'll do it. And we saw a massive shift of that in big companies.
I think from a candidate employee point of view, it just was vitally important that they have a well-written contract. Part of the IR35 legislation, if you do have a well-written contract, then that can potentially negate that. So if you are contracting, A, review your contract, potentially speak to a lawyer, B, get a good tax advisor, and C, Adam is brilliant at tax actually, and C, obviously, if you are going to be looking for more of a permanent role, speak to a recruitment agent. Right, we have questions. We have
so many questions. We've got CJ Pell. Did Leo Messi dodge tax? If so, how can I do the same?
Yeah,
well done, Connor.
Connor, that's a great question.
Our PI cover won't allow you to answer.
Yeah, I mean, I actually wasn't Messi's advisor, but there has been, apparently, according to the press, potentially he did. And how can I do the same? Well, that will be, if you want to set up a meeting We might not be able to get you as much as a tax saving as Messi, but we can maybe help.
I know that Steve Summers.
I sort of ignored that one.
No, not at all. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. So I believe your question was to Richard: what is the greatest moment in your life so far, other than marrying Hannah, obviously, and your kids?
I think Steve wants me to say probably one of the goals he scored, because he sort of thinks he's one of the best footballers going, which you are. You're very good, Steve, but you know Mitch Young. But in terms of the greatest moment in my life, obviously, got to be the birth of my kids.
He's a sweet boy.
Okay, we've got some more questions here.
Why aren't any of you wearing ties?
Oh, I think the answer to that is
David,
David, he really wants this massage. I'm really... Licio, you've got to be worried.
That's not a good question.
It's not a good question, no.
To be fair, it's an interesting question though, because certainly in my industry, my profession, people do expect or have an image of an accountant or tax advisor or anyone professional to be wearing a tie, but I think the type of clients that we deal with, the more younger entrepreneurial type clients, it's certainly acceptable, and it gives off a certain image. So that's why.
When was the last time you wore a tie?
I have to admit, I know that was a random question from David, but if my office are watching, they'll know this, but I went to see a client about 2 months ago, and I never wear a tie for a meeting unless it's a really, really...
Is it because you get hot?
No, yeah. And I went to see this client, and literally I was so surprised. It was like everyone was very well groomed. I felt out of place with a tie, and I didn't think anything of it. And I got an email when I got back saying the client was basically saying that I looked it's not scruffy, but I didn't look as professional as what she remembered me. It was an old client I used to work with that had moved on, so that was probably part of my thought process of not wearing a tie, because I knew her, she'd referred me, etc.
Yeah.
And I went there and I was like, okay, wow. And I don't think I've worn a tie for a client meeting for a couple of years. It's not the right thing to do, but I think you should try to engage my...
David's saying it's all about mirroring your clients, which is true.
Yeah,
which is
he's
true.
got a point.
But we've got some more questions here. Just very quickly, I'll just answer for Sophie. She can't hear anything. Maybe you need to find someone who's good at IT to help you with your IT setup at home. But if you know anyone.
As Gavin said?
Gavin said, have you noticed any recent trends in companies hiring either more senior or more junior level staff?
Good question.
It's a good question. Do you not work with me, Gavin? Do you not know that answer? It's a good question. Personally, I think it's very much par on par. I mean, you'll know this, that most recently we've probably had 50% transactional jobs, 50% qualified senior jobs. So I don't see any particular trend. Again, who knows what's going to happen with Brexit? I referred to that CEO job that got pulled. Maybe the more senior, really high level jobs just going to sit tight and see what happens over the next 6 months.
But I do know, again, just bringing it back to the accounting and tax industry, that there is a massive demand for qualified senior professionals and younger partners. So that type of the market is prime. I know most accountants in certainly northwest London, mid-sized firms are looking for that level, and I think that's always going to be.
But we've been recruiting as well. I mean, it's an interesting time. There's a lot of movement around, but finding the right people is always a challenge. I see we've got another question from Paul Martin. So Paul, well done for joining. Paul is a new recruit of Fusion who started.
Oh yeah.
Did you forget who he was already?
Oh yeah, I was just asking.
Hi Paul, well done for watching. So Paul's question is, according to the Metro, one of the hardest questions asked by prospective employees was, if you were going to the moon, what are the 10 most important things you'll take with you and why? What are the most challenging questions you ask potential candidates? Good question.
Yeah, well done, Paul.
It's a really good question, Paul. And if I'm honest, I don't like those taking to the moon type questions. If I'm totally honest, I hear examples all day, every day of what people have asked. There's no rights or wrongs. Obviously, a client can ask whatever they want to ask. We also get clients that say things they shouldn't be saying in interviews as well. And as my job as a consultant is to advise my clients that you can't ask things like age and sexuality and that sort of stuff. It's a no-no. The amount of clients that do it, the amount of clients that do it is second to none. In terms of the question, what's the most challenging question you ask potential candidates? I generally I mean, bear in mind, we are not interviewing the candidates to work for me. We are preparing them in terms of what they're going to be potentially asked in interviews. So what we do with all of our candidates is we have a document, a key interview tips, as you like, document, which we send to them, and we do go through competency-based questions and stuff like that. But I would never ask when I'm recruiting a consultant. Personally, I want to see their personality. I want to see their social skills. I don't actually care about what 10 things they'll take to the moon. So I can't.
But just on that note, Paul, let us know, what would you take to the moon?
What 10 things?
What 10 things would you take to the moon?
Yeah, get them in. Guys, thanks for the questions. There's lots of you in with a shout. The theme's recruitment, if you haven't guessed, and we have a great prize for the best question, which Rich is going to give, and the prize is
a full 1 hour, a full body massage for 1 hour with Jaye, who is a massage therapist.
It's a great prize. Thanks for donating that, and we've also got some lovely fusion pens to one or two of you.
Sophie's asking what time you're coming home.
I'm not sure. Depends how this goes.
Someone's asking about the video cutting out.
Is the video cutting out?
Is it
We've
cutting
spent a
out?
fortune on this new camera.
Yeah, it can't be cutting out.
I don't think it is. We can't. Well, I don't know. David, if it's still cutting out, please let us know.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Hannah, you're welcome.
Okay, so it's not cutting out. It's just probably he's got.
Well, it's obviously Sophie and David. Clearly got some IT issues.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's Richard's kids.
Yeah.
Wow, what a prize!
Yeah, Steve. No, he's interested. Steve, get a question. Let's hear from you. We're talking about recruitment. Let us know the Hive's policy on recruitment, some stories that you've had, or any questions you want to ask Richard.
I think there's a big Essex community on tonight.
I've got a lot of followers, Adam. You know that.
I know you do. You do.
Okay, so let's talk about some interview techniques.
Yep.
Well, I guess let's go to Adam first. What do you think are good interview techniques in candidate?
Well, we were talking about this before. I mean, I think some of the key things are again being on time. God, So are you talking about from the candidate point of view or the client point of view?
Well, no, let's do candidate first.
Candidate, yeah. So turning up a bit early, making sure that you're nice and relaxed, all that kind of stuff. And then, typically when we've interviewed people, we start off by asking them to explain a little bit about themselves and their background, run through a couple of things on the CV, and that normally leads to other questions. And it's about, answering them calmly, confidently, and as Richard said, getting across a bit of personality. Someone who speaks in, very monotone and, everything else, that, typically doesn't give a good... doesn't give a good interview. You want to see a bit of personality, and you've got to know whether you can work with them or not.
Yeah. No, go on.
I think for me, as a recruiter, we can only do so much in terms of the preparation, and we can't physically tell you what to answer in the interview because we don't know what questions you're going to be asked. But as my consultants will prepare you as much as we can. But things like these things, the amount of times I've heard a client say, "Oh, their phone vibrated," or their phone went off in the interview.
Yeah.
The amount of people that chew gum, the amount of people that literally are not looking you in the eye and slouching on the chair. And as a consultant, we try to. I get very, very disappointed if I hear feedback from a client that any of these things I've just mentioned happens.
Absolutely.
And all we can do as consultants is prepare you to the best of our ability. And thankfully it doesn't happen a lot, but there are occasional things at times it does. Smoking's another one. I mean, fine to smoke, but don't have a cigarette 2 minutes before an interview because all you're going to do is smell the smoke. Yeah. Firm handshake. You guys probably know, as soon as you've seen someone and you shake their hand, you know how much confidence has been exuberated and you're going to know if that person's good or bad. And it's the same with us, and it's the same with clients. It's that elevated pitch, that 30 seconds in a lift. Are you going to have some conversation? Is there an icebreaker in there? These are the things that are really, really important at any level.
Yeah. And how often do clients say, "I'm not sure, can we put together something bespoke to the job role to test them out?" Or do clients go
good question.
for first interview,
Good
second
question.
interview?
That's a really good question. How often do you say?
In your experience. So, for instance, like when we recruit, say it's on the tax side, we'd have a first interview, and then I would set them a little maybe exercise on something specific to something that we do, so I can get a gauge of if they can handle that type of thing.
It's happening more and more now. I mean, I had it today. I had a girl that got to 4 stages. Thankfully, she got offered the job. but it's happening more and more. And she had to put a presentation together. And on the second interview, first interview was on the telephone, second was a presentation. The third interview, they loved her presentation so much, they wanted her to present the presentation again to another person.
Wow.
And then you're thinking, this girl has not even been offered a job yet.
Yeah.
And went back today and had a lunch, and anyway, she was offered a job. But I think more and more clients are asking, us as consultants to what can they do, and I'm advising if it's so important for your role to do some sort of testing or do some sort of presentation, go with it, because you're the one that's got to be sure that this person is right for your job.
Do you recommend telephone interviews first?
I gauge it on how busy I think the client is. If I'm trying to sell a candidate into a job and I don't think the client's sure, my pitch will be spend 10 minutes on the phone to them.
Yeah.
More over the last 6 months, I think more and more clients are taking up that telephone interview option, because again, you can tell how good or bad somebody is.
It's qualification, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's pre-qualification.
But that's what we do. Typically, we have we have a telephone interview first, and then if they sort of sound okay, and then we invite them in.
Yeah.
For the first round interview.
We've got a couple more questions here. Stephen Barron, where do you stand with 0-hour contracts?
I don't really get involved in 0-hour contracts, if I'm totally honest with you, Steve. I mean, I say most of my business is permanent spot business. If I'm honest, my business partner Gavin could probably answer that for me if he was here, but I can come back to you on that. But I'm not a contracty stroke temporary consultant, but I've got a team that do get involved in that.
You got any comments on that?
There's been a lot of bad press over the last couple of years about it. I don't know. I think it's about being fair and transparent with your employees, and 0-hour contracts doesn't really give much stability, in my opinion. But
yeah,
to each their own.
Thanks, Steve.
What's Gavin said again?
Gavin saying, one technique that I advise candidates is to interview for the job at hand. Obviously a nod towards progression, but keep it relevant to the role. Don't price your salary expectations and subsequently yourself out of the job. Good question.
Yeah, Gavin, he's got a point. The amount of times a candidate thinks an interview's going really well, and it comes to that question, how much are you looking for? And they think, I've got a chance to really, really secure more money now. It doesn't work. It really, really doesn't work. We've changed our mentalities, that when we're preparing somebody for an interview, we send them an email and we actually write on the email with the job details, etc. This is what I have told my candidate about you, and it says you're available a month's notice, or you're looking for 25,000 a year, so that they've actually seen what our client has seen. And thankfully, it stops that whole, it's gone really well, let me ask for 30, because all they're doing is outpricing themselves. So he's right, don't outprice yourself, stick to the job you're going to. If another opportunity comes out of it and they really like you and they want to talk to you about something else, they still will.
Yeah. I guess what we found out, and it's interesting, is about rebate periods with recruitment agencies. So
why are you smiling?
I'm smiling because I had a situation today which I won't go into.
No, but it's really important. Obviously, from a business owner, a lot of people watching will be small business owners, and they want to know what's fair in a rebate period. So a rebate period meaning that you've paid a recruitment agent, someone started and it hasn't worked out after 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
Typically, what's a fair rebate period?
Standard across the recruitment world is 12 weeks. Okay, if Joe Bloggs leaves a role within 12 weeks and the company has paid to terms, and I'll talk about that in a second, we would offer a free replacement within that 12-week period. Okay. But what we tend to do is we trade variables, because we're not expensive, and I'm not going to talk about my fee structure on this today, but we're not expensive. But what we tend to do is, and if we are negotiating or are reducing our fee, then I will utilise other trade variables. I will reduce our guarantee period, or I will reduce payment terms. All things to, if we're giving you something, we want something back in return. Yeah. It's probably similar to you guys. Saying that, it's we want to grow our business, so it's a tough one, because we don't want to get to that stage where somebody leaves after 12 weeks and then we don't replace. 9 times out of 10, depending on the situation, I'm going to want, I'm going to do something for you.
You want happy customers.
Happy customers, long relationships.
Long-term
relationship. But the situation I had today was somebody was trying it on, and they asked after 7 months for a replacement.
7 months.
And then I said no, and then I'm like the worst person in the world, and I'm going to
do this. You're not the worst person.
Thank you.
Well, Adam's very good at negotiating. So what's the best rebate period you've ever managed to negotiate with a recruitment agent?
That's a bit of a loaded question. We did get once 12 months rebate, 100%.
Wow.
but that's because
Wasn't from me, was it?
I'm a very good negotiator.
Yeah, I actually negotiated that one, but
but that is very uncommon. Just to set the expectation, that was a once in a lifetime situation. But no, listen, 12 weeks is very reasonable. You know, you'd like to think that in 3 months you'll know if they're the right
But you
person.
said 12 weeks and a free replacement within that 12 weeks.
If someone leaves within 12 weeks, we will replace it free of charge.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very fair.
But also, Adam, you guys know within 2 weeks probably if someone's right.
Of course you do.
Yeah,
And you haven't paid an invoice in 2 weeks. I'm not telling you tricks of the trade here, but you haven't paid an invoice in the first 2 weeks.
No,
most of the
but
time.
you've got to be fair and equitable in everything
Yeah.
you do. And the thing is that, you know, that we've recruited a number of people over the last 18 months. And, you know, the reality is we've you know, again, one of the reasons why we've used recruitment agents is because, look, you know, it's a fee that you only pay when you get the person, and you've got that cover period that, you know, if for whatever reason they're the wrong person, and, you know, or something you didn't know, because it's so difficult, you know, in the space of a 1 hour interview, even if you've done a telephone interview, you've done a first and second interview, you've only spent, I don't know, 2 hours and 20 minutes. You know, it's not very long to know.
I must
if they're the right
admit,
person.
in the 2.5 years I've been at 24 Group, today was the first time I've ever said no to some sort of free replacement or anything like that, and that was because I felt that the client was being unreasonable.
Yeah, guys, get your questions in. There's a prize to be given away. We're going to be going on for about 5 more minutes. Okay, we've got it's going to be a 1 hour massage, full body massage to the best question asked. So 5 minutes.
We've got 2 statements up here. We've got Glenn Davis saying hello.
Hi, Glenn.
Hi, Glenn. And we've got Neil Jacobs saying he is.
It's because I said you're a good negotiator.
Oh, thank you.
No, that was too quick. Neil Jacobs not that quick.
He said he is. I forgot I had a really good question. I forgot I was going to ask. Oh yes. So again, a lot of people watching are going to be one-man bands. Okay. And for them to make the investment into getting a staff member on board to help them or paying a recruitment agent, when would you say in the business of a one-man band is the point where they should look at investing into their first member of staff?
That's a very difficult question. That's a very difficult question. I think it depends on the business, it depends on the cash flow, it depends on all these different things. I think every business is different. You know, when we started, we recruited, you know, day one. But, you know, in my previous business, I didn't recruit my first member of staff for a year and a bit. You know, it all depends. I think that every business has got its own journey, and I think that, again, it comes down to planning. If you need staff to deliver the service or generate leads or whatever it's going to be, then, you know, you should be working that into your plan, you know, and funding it accordingly. But every business is different. There's no real answer.
Just for the last few minutes, it's worth noting that Richard is actually a qualified FA referee. So if you do have any questions for Rich on the refereeing side, then
I won't be able to answer them, but yeah, go for it.
Because you refed all the way up to professional.
Yeah. I got to the football conference, which is probably called the National League now. I started refereeing at 14. My dad was a referee, got me into it. I was the richest kid at school at the time, so I was refereeing 5 games a weekend. Started going for a promotion. At 18, I was allowed to referee men's football. Then I started, you know, going on. At the time was the Southern League, which I think still called the Southern League, and then the Ryman League, and sort of worked my way up to football conference. Unfortunately, fitness prevailed, and I wasn't ever perceived to be an athlete. And I know people are laughing at that now, but that's the truth. And it was probably also work-wise. You know, I was expected to literally drop everything at a phone call at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon to go somewhere like Eastbourne, and they don't understand that these people work as well. So I think my decision was made that when I had my first child, I gave up that level of football and also focused on my business.
Yeah. And who's the best player? I mean, Glenn's asked that as well. Who's the best player you've ever seen? Aside from Stephen Simons.
We're talking the Maccabi League. Steve's up there on the Maccabi League.
No, just you know.
I mean, I used to referee reserve football. I think it's got to be probably Frank Lampard, Joe Cole. When I was, you know, when they were West Ham youth players, you could tell the difference. Rio Ferdinand's another one. And
who's the most famous person you've booked or sent off?
Ricardo Carvalho, the ex-Chelsea centre half.
Okay.
Again, that was a reserve game. That was a booking. So Steve Claridge is another one. He's quite famous, isn't he? Adam doesn't like him because he's like, what's going on here?
That is that
I'll just sit here quietly. We've got another question from Steve.
I don't know what that means.
How many Floyds do you try and fit into a day?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Right. Shall we? Do you want to go through the questions and announce the?
Yeah, I think
if we scroll down,
let's see the questions and see who's in the running for the massage.
Okay, so we've got Tanya's question. We've got David. David's done a lot.
David's done a lot. I do like the guy that works for you. I like that question about the 10 moon thing.
Paul Martin.
He hasn't answered the other bit that you asked him though.
Absolutely.
Who else we've got? We've got good question from him.
I liked Connor's question about Leo Messi and the tax dodge.
Nah, I didn't like that. Sorry, Connor. No. That'll teach you for giving me lip the other week. What else? Who else? Yeah, David has asked a sensible.
Yeah.
Gavin, in all fairness, has asked a couple of good questions.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's right going to
Gavin, keep going.
Barry.
Sophie didn't ask a question.
Question.
Yeah. Pavini asked a question.
Pavini. Steve Barron.
The Brexit question was good.
The Brexit question. Barry.
Huh?
Local.
Barry. Yeah. Barry's right.
Barry's local. Keep going. Up.
So I think we've narrowed it down. We've got
Martin,
Tanya,
Barry, Paul.
Which was Tanya's question? Sorry, go back to Tanya's.
How do I it's a very good candidates for the rest?
I'm going to go. I'm going to go Barry. Paris.
Well done, Barry. Hannah, don't worry. Barry's fine. Don't worry.
Where does Barry live?
Do you know him properly?
Barry?
Yeah.
Not that well.
Clearly not.
Is he local?
Yeah, he's local.
Barry is, North London.
Okay, I'll be clear.
And we'll send some pens to. We don't need to send them to Paul. Paul, you can get another pen. But we'll send some pens out to some of you who ask questions. Thank you very much to everyone for participating. Hope you enjoyed it. It'll be stored up on the Mitch Taxman page, Fusion YouTube page. Adam, thank you. Thank Tanya behind the scenes.
Well done, Tanya.
Very good. Our new camera, and of course, Rich. Great to see you. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be back next month, March. I think it's going to be March 23rd. And we're going to have an IT company on board. So that's going to be very exciting. So tune in. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.